The English language is quite the melting pot. It's been enriched and, dare I say it, refined by the inclusion of words from many different languages. Most of us think of French or Spanish or maybe even Italian and, of course, Latin and Greek. But some of the best words are borrowed from the ancient and vibrant Hindi language. Sure, Hindi hasn't had the influence on English that Latin or Greek did, but you'll be surprised at some of the great words the language has given us. Most of these words come from the British Imperial period in England. We have anglicized these words to make them sound more English, but they're fairly well intact. The next time you shampoo your hair, thank the Hindi language. Aren't you glad we don't call it hair soap? Our word shampoo is derived from the Hindi word shampoo, which means to press, knead, rub, or soothe, but also refer to a traditional head massage in India that uses herbs and fragrances. Makes sense, right? The word sounds like this.
Shampoo, shampoo.
Here's a big batch of other great English words that we borrowed from Hindi. The English word avatar, yes, that avatar, the word we mostly use to refer to the electronic image we create to represent ourselves in video games, comes from a Hindi word meaning to cross down. More specifically, it referred to the descent of a deity from heaven, or basically the human or animal form of a Hindi god on earth. It sounds like this.
Avatar, avatar.
The word bandana, the piece of cloth or the colorful handkerchief we use to cover our heads or tie around our necks if we are a cowboy, it comes from the Hindi word meaning to tie. It sounds like this.
Bandana, bandana.
And Bangle, a word for a rigid bracelet, but also a great name for an all-female rock band from the 80s, comes from a Hindi word meaning a type of bracelet. It sounds like this.
Bangadi, bangadi.
The English word bungalow, a small house or cottage, comes from a Hindi word meaning house. It sounds like this.
Bungalow, bungalow.
When I was in the military, I often slept on one of these. In America, a cot is a small, portable, collapsible bed like we use often in the armed forces. And in British English, it means a small bed with high sides for a baby, which in English we call a crib. This comes from the Hindi word meaning bed. It sounds like this.
Cart, cart.
The word we sometimes use for a small boat, dinghy, is taken directly from the Hindi word for a small boat. It sounds pretty much the same in Hindi.
Dinghy, dinghy.
We also get our word jungle from Hindi. It comes from a Hindi word for a forest or wilderness. The word refers to any such place, including temperate forest, not just tropical rainforest. But in English, we use it only to refer to the latter. It sounds like this in Hindi.
Jungle, jungle.
The dull-colored brownish yellow or tan pants we call khakis, or the word for that color, also came from a Hindi word meaning a gray color like dust. It sounds like this.
Khaki, khaki.
In English, we use the noun loot to refer to the goods or valuable items you might take in a war. It's similar to the English word spoils, as in the spoils of war. Or it could be the stuff you get from stealing from a place. And as a verb, to loot means to steal goods from a place, particularly during times of war. The word comes from the identical Hindi word meaning to steal.
Loot, loot.
Now, do you wear pajamas to bed? Thank Hindi that you have something to call them instead of night clothes or some other boring name. We got the word for the clothing we wear to bed from a Hindi word meaning leg garment. It sounds like this.
Pajama, pajama.
Now we get the name for the liquor-spiked fruity drink we serve out of large bowls at parties, also from Hindi. The word punch came from the Hindi word meaning 5, referring to a drink with 5 ingredients. Some folks say the English invented punch, but it's fairly certain they got the idea from India. The word for 5 sounds like this.
Panch, Panch,
But there was another word for the actual drink that sounds more like pansik.
Pantsak, Pantsak,
Pundit is a word we use for the talking heads that appear on the evening news discussing politics. It refers to an expert in a particular field that's often called on to give opinions in public. We got the word pundit from a Hindi word meaning a scholar or priest, someone with a lot of knowledge and wisdom. It sounds like this.
Pundit, Pundit,
A thug in English is a person who commits crimes in a violent way. Someone of a low character given to assaulting others physically, etc. Just being a jerk overall. We got the English word thug from a Hindi word meaning thief or con man. It sounds like this.
Thug, Thug,
Toddy comes from Hindi too. In English, toddy refers to a drink of alcohol, usually rum, mixed with water, sugar, and spices. We usually heat these drinks, so we call them hot toddies. The word came from the Hindi word for the juice of the palmyra palm. It sounds like this.
Toddy, Toddy,
In English, a veranda is a long balcony or terrace. We got our word from a Hindustani word that originally came from Portuguese. Kind of a roundabout journey. It sounds like this.
Veranda, Veranda,
These are not the only words we got from Hindi. Of course, the words juggernaut, cheetah, chit with a CH, not an SH, cushy, ganja via Jamaica, guru, karma, mantra, and many others came from Hindi as well.